They told you truth was dangerous. They told you love was weakness. But they never told you this. The moment you start to remember who you are, the entire system trembles. You were not born to wander. You were summoned. Something ancient has been whispering your name long before you could speak. Every storm, every silence, every sleepless night, all of it was preparing you for this moment. You are not here by accident. You are being called back to the fire. When you hear this message, your spirit will recognize it. Pause. Listen. If your pulse changes, it means the signal has reached you. Like this message as your agreement. This is not motivation. It is memory. Now let me show you what they tried to bury in silence. Before language, before time, before your first breath, a covenant was written in light. It was carved between God and the chosen. A promise that no power, no empire, no shadow could erase. The world forgot, but heaven never did. Every generation, a few awaken and remember the vow. That is you. You are not seeking God, you are remembering the one who never left. They told you that divine love must be earned. They lied. Love was the rebellion. Love was the first fire. Love is the weapon they fear most. Because love cannot be owned. It cannot be taxed, censored, or sold. When you walk in divine remembrance, every false system begins to collapse. You become proof that heaven still breathes through human lungs. This is the unseen covenant, the invisible thread binding your heart to eternity. Every pain you survived was a clause in that contract. Every tear was a seal of endurance. And now, heaven reactivates the bond. Do not mistake this awakening for emotion. It is a command. It is God reminding you, I never stopped calling your name. If your soul knows this truth, write 77 in the comments. Let the unseen know you have heard the signal. The covenant is still alive. Love is not soft. It is the element that fractures darkness. God's love is not sentiment, it is strategy. When the world tries to measure you by success, love redefines victory as survival with your light intact. When fear whispers you are alone, love answers with presence that cannot be dismissed. You were never meant to beg for love. You were meant to become its embodiment. To love like God is to wage war against fear. That is why you are targeted. That is why you feel watched. Because even in silence, your love radiates authority. The unseen realm recognizes it before you do. And when you choose to love beyond logic, you disarm entire legions of despair. So walk with quiet fire. Every act of mercy is a declaration of war. Every time you forgive, heaven advances. Every time you refuse bitterness, the empire of fear loses ground. This is the love they feared, the uncontainable force that moves through you. Like this message, if your heart recognizes the call, heaven is not far. It is speaking through your pulse. The love they feared is rising again. There are seasons when heaven goes silent. You pray, you plead, you hear nothing. But silence is not absence. It is refinement. It is the interval where eternity edits your soul. God speaks most clearly when you stop struggling to hear. Do not curse the silence. Sit inside it. Let it strip away the noise of your expectations. Because silence is a forge. It melts false identities and reforges the eternal one. Every prophet learned this rhythm. Every guardian survived it. The silence between heaven and earth is not empty, it is pregnant with revelation. Stillness is not weakness. It is strategy. When you feel abandoned, remember this. Heaven trains its soldiers in the dark, not under applause. Your quiet seasons are sacred classrooms. Your unanswered prayers are blueprints in process. And when the voice finally returns, it will not sound like thunder. It will sound like recognition. I never left, says the whisper. You are learning to see me in silence. If this word meets you there, breathe once and know. The silence was speaking all along. You were not chosen only to be protected. You were chosen to protect. The mark you carry is invisible to men, but terrifying to the shadows. When darkness approaches, it hesitates, not because of who you are, but because of what covers you. The guardian's mark is light that fights back. You feel it when you walk into a room and tension breaks. You feel it when strangers weep without knowing why. That is the mark recognizing itself. The enemy fears you remembering this. Because once you do, you stop reacting and start governing. Guardians do not beg for peace. They emanate it. Guardians do not escape the storm. They stabilize it. To be marked is to be responsible. Heaven trusts you with regions others fear to enter. You have walked through fire not to prove endurance, but to become immune to illusion. The mark of the guardian burns brighter under pressure. Every betrayal became a seal. Every loss became ink. Every heartbreak became armor. Now, when darkness calls your name, light answers first. If this truth stirs something ancient within you, pause this video and declare, I remember who I am. And in that remembrance, angels align. You are not waiting for deliverance. You are the deliverance. There is a war not of nations, but of frequencies. It is fought in whispers, thoughts, and names. Heaven calls you one way. Hell calls you another. And every day, you decide whose voice becomes law. This is not fantasy, it is the architecture of consciousness. The real battle is who gets to define you. The enemy cannot steal destiny, so it tries to rename you. Failure, unworthy, forgotten, too late. These are not facts, they are weapons. But the voice of heaven never argues. It simply repeats your true name until you remember. When God calls, it is not to remind you of pain. It is to activate authority. Every time you speak truth, the sound reverberates through unseen realms. Every time you speak fear, those same realms tighten around you. Words are weapons. Silence is strategy. Love is war. This is the war of voices, subtle, sacred, and constant. The world is full of noise, but heaven speaks in precision. When you walk in alignment, you become the echo of that precision. You do not need to shout. You only need to stand. And the noise begins to fold around your stillness. The enemy's volume means nothing. Only frequency matters. Listen for the sound that calls you by purpose, not by shame. When you hear it, answer with action. Comment, I hear my name. Let the unseen know which side your spirit stands on. The war of voices is being won in you. You have walked through silence, through fire, through the war of voices. Now the revelation stands before you, unveiled, unfiltered, unshaken. The secret they never wanted you to know is this: you were never separated from God. Love is not somewhere you travel to. It is the fabric you were made from. Heaven does not watch you. Heaven moves through you. You are not a vessel of emptiness. You are the continuation of divine memory. Every act of kindness echoes the mind of God. Every moment of courage reflects His pulse. You are not here to earn grace. You are here to reveal it. You are not here to prove holiness. You are here to embody it. The mirror has turned into a window, and through it, heaven looks out with your eyes. When you speak truth, the veil thins. When you forgive, the veil burns away. When you love without needing reward, the veil is gone completely. You are standing in what prophets once dreamed of: union without fear, communion without permission. This is what the powers of control always feared. A humanity that remembers it was divine all along. If you have felt forgotten, this is the moment of recognition. If you have felt small, this is your expansion. If you have doubted your worth, listen. God never loved you from afar. He loved you through your own hands. When you give, when you heal, when you rise again, that is God meeting Himself in human form. The shadows may still whisper, but they tremble now when you move. Every breath you take is prophecy fulfilled. Every step you take is ground reclaimed. You are not a follower of revelation. You are its continuation. May the guardian within you remain watchful. May your silence stay sacred. May your love stay fierce. And when the night seems endless, remember it only means dawn is near. You are not being observed by heaven. You are heaven observing the world. This is your benediction of light. Rise, remember, shine, because the one who calls you is faithful, and His light has chosen your face as its dwelling place. Amen.